See with it, Richard. Thank you. I don't know if I gave you one of my cards. There it is. I think you did. I probably set it down. Right there you are. Good. So the reason we wanted to talk to you is about the, like I said, the Libby case. Okay. And appreciate your time in doing that. And as a formality, before we talk to anybody about these things, I want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest or anything like that, okay? And the door here is open. You can leave at any time you want. I'd be glad to give you a ride back or whatever. So, but we need to make sure that we go cover a formality here. And I'm going to get to the page here where it's at. This is a Miranda warning. So before we ask any questions, you need to understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask any questions and have it with you during questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, it will be appointed for you before any question if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer present, you still have the right to stop answering any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time you talk to a lawyer. Now, like I said, you're not under arrest. So just want to make sure you understand those rights. Down here at the bottom it says, I read this statement of our rights and understand our rights. I do not want a lawyer at this time, and I understand what I am doing. No promises or threats have been made to me, no pressure or coercion of any kind has been used against me. If you'd be willing to talk with us, or just if you understand your rights, we just need your signature that we charge.
Okay.
Okay. This is a formality we take care of whenever we talk to anyone.
We're just going back to the beginning of the case, and we know you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin. We just want to figure out what you saw when you were out there before.
Great, wonderful. Okay. Now, Tony brought up something that you had done when initially you had talked to Lieutenant Doolin, and according to Lieutenant Doolin, the information he got to you from you was that you were on the trail between 1:30 and 3:30. Does it make any sense? Okay. And that you had parked at the old Farm Bureau building. I think that may have been the old welfare office out there. Well, and while at the Freedom Bridge, you saw three females and noted that one was taller and had black or brown long hair. This is basically what he had written down. Okay. And maybe you even got some information about your phone or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. So now you understand everything. So I want to make sure that we just kind of get some information from you, and we get started here off the bat with today's date, which is Thursday. And today is 10/13 of 22. What time do you have, Tony?
It's 11:15.
10:45. And your full name is?
Richard.
H-A-R-D.
Matthew. Allen.
That's A-L-L-E-N.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how old are you now?
50 years old.
Okay. Your date of birth?
9972.
Okay, great. Could I ask you to write down this real quick? I know where the X is at right there.
I'm in the 50-year-old club this year.
I'm beyond that, actually. So.
Just turned. No.
Sorry. Hard to believe. And do you know your driver's license number off the top of your head?
No.
Don't worry about it. The home address, I didn't get it when I was out there. What is it? Okay. And a phone number you can be contacted at.
Would you have for water?
I got one right here, Tony.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll be right back.
And do you have any of their cell phone numbers that you can be contacted by?
I got my wife's number.
Okay, what's her phone number?
Okay. Never dial numbers anymore.
You don't, I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah, okay. And how long have you had that phone number, that's your, 317 number?
I believe I got it when I worked at Indy, so it would have been prior to 2006.
Okay.
Because it's an Indy number.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see, and can I ask what kind of phone you have?
It's an Android, a Google.
Okay. Yeah, what's your email address? Do you have any other email addresses? I have a couple myself, so I asked.
Yeah, I don't use it very often. It's and I had one at Yahoo at some point too, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay, great. What kind of social media do you do applications do you use, like Facebook? Not at all? Do you have a Facebook account?
Oh, my wife does. I don't.
Sounds so familiar. Okay. And does she post often? Things like,
She's,
on there all the time?
and she does.
Okay, all right. So what is your marital status?
Married.
Married, okay. And have you been married before?
No.
Okay. Number of children, we were talking about your kids, your daughter. What's her name again? Okay. And how old? Okay. And what's her last name now? And any grandkids?
No.
Oh, okay. And what's her husband's name? Is he from around here?
He's originally from the Philippines,
Oh, okay.
but lived in Canada, and he's been here, well, shortly before they got married, so around 16, maybe 15, 16,
Okay.
I don't know. They got married in 17.
What's his name? Okay, all right. So, but he lived here for a while, so I never sends up Pantas being around here.
No, not around here.
Not around here?
No.
Maybe somebody else?
She was already up in Napanee when she met him.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, graduated from high school, where at?
North Miami.
What year?
91.
Okay. And any other vocational training, college classes?
Went to Ivy Tech, like a couple semesters.
What did you study there?
Accounting.
Okay. Any other vocational training, or? Okay.
Well, I was in the military, but
Oh, okay, that's a question coming up here. Were you involved in any fraternal organizations, clubs, or athletics, or anything like that in school?
I did some track here and there. I did football for like a year, but nothing serious.
Okay. Any clubs or National Honor Society or something like that?
Oh, no.
Sorry. Military service, so highest rank achieved?
E5 sergeant.
Okay. Mostly around here? Or
No, it was in, I was born and raised, well, not born, but I lived in Mexico most of my life.
Mexico, like in
Indiana.
Indiana, like in Miami?
Yeah,
Okay.
you always get that. Yeah, Mexico, Carroll, Denver. Yeah.
Okay,
It was
all right.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
But it was Peru was where I was in the National Guard at, sorry.
All right. Go to church anywhere?
No,
Have you ever?
on occasion, nothing,
Okay. Where'd you usually go to? Any place around
I
here? or-
don't even know. No, not around here.
Okay. All right. Parents go to church, or did they take you to church when you were a kid?
No, my grandparents went to church, my parents didn't.
Oh, I see. Okay. Any criminal history? Have you been arrested for anything? Okay. Any medical problems, heart trouble, high blood pressure, psychological disorders?
Oh, yeah, everything.
Okay.
I've had a heart attack, I've got a couple stents,
Okay.
and,
How long ago was your heart attack?
I think it's 2010.
Okay.
You were 40?
37.
37, holy cow.
Mm-hmm. And anything else?
Depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cholesterol.
All right. And you're working at CVS.
Yeah.
So you said you've been there how many years?
Since, well, not the one here, but with CBS since 2013.
Okay. So you worked at another CVS somewhere?
Yeah, I worked in, trained in Marion, I worked in Peru, and then I came to Delphi, I'm thinking 16, 17, 16. I've been there a while now.
But you said you were living at your house out there since 2000. So you drive back and forth to those CVS?
Yeah, I was leaving Walmart, like I said, I spent 10 years with Walmart. I was actually a store manager at one point with Walmart. Chose to leave the company and do something different, and interviewed with CVS, and Peru was the district manager that I interviewed with. Peru was the furthest western store that he had, or closest to me, so that's where I was going to be working, and it just didn't work out the way that I thought it was long term. I mean, I was there several years, but I wanted to, they had a training position, a managerial training position. I told them I didn't want to do that anymore. Long story short, and put in the transfer back, and like I said, I'm 16, I'm going to say around 16, 17, somewhere.
All right. Well, managing is kind of hard sometimes, I understand. Is there a particular reason why you didn't stay in management, or?
Tired of it, the bureaucracy, just not really being about taking care of the customer. It's more about hitting this number on this spreadsheet and that number on that spreadsheet, and then you're getting a call every 15 minutes if you didn't hit this number on this spreadsheet. And none of them really help you take better care of the customer. I mean, you spend your time managing scorecards, and I just had enough of it.
Sure.
I was just tired of it.
Sure, okay. Let's see, so from where we're at right now, I think probably, can you help us understand what was going on Monday, February the 13th? You kind of tell us what you were doing that day, and remember the day the girls
Okay.
were on the trail?
Okay.
Yeah.
I went over to my mom's in Peru, Mexico, earlier in the day. I think my mom had hip surgery back then or something, but regardless, my wife was working, so I went over there and spent I spent the morning with them. My sisters come over and they were going to go eat lunch and stuff, and I wasn't about that, so I went home. And I remember it was a fairly warm day,
Mhm.
or warmer than normal, so I think I just put a jacket on and went back out to the trails. Usually when we go, we walk down to High Bridge and walk back and walk down the other side and come back. I mean, it wasn't a ritual, but I remember walking down to the bridge. The times, I left my mom's, it was probably around 11:15. So I think I would have been out there, because I didn't do anything else. It would have been around noon, I thought, is when I was out there. Walked down to High Bridge. Always went out just a little ways, not all the way. Went out a little ways and watched the fish. See if I seen any fish down there, because I like fishing. And walked back and sat on the, when you turn around and go down the other fork, there's a bench that overlooks, and sat there for a few minutes and walked down walked back out and left.
Okay. Anything else you remember? Where was you parked your car at?
Said there was, the big parking lot wasn't there at the time, right?
Oh, you mean which one?
Like where the bridge is at, I don't think it was there. So there's if you went over behind, there's a back road that went up, and there was a bridge, not the main bridge. There was a smaller bridge where you could park there, or you could park over on the other side. And I remember I didn't park over there where it's a farmer's entrance or something. I remember I didn't park there because I had told him something about, there were a couple vehicles there when I left, so I parked somewhere, either parked over on the bridge side, or there used to be a little building there. I could have parked there. There was a trail. Until they got the whole thing done.
Okay.
When you're talking about the bridge, just so I'm clear, you're talking about that big blue bridge, the Freedom Bridge or whatever that goes over the highway?
Well, that's the big blue bridge, but before that was there was a, if you're going out of town, you would take the road that I think is where the park is. It veers off, it winds off this way, and there's a road, the first road you come, well, I don't know if it's the first road, but there's a road that takes off to the right, and there's houses, and then it just kind of turns into a lane, and there was a small bridge up there before, I mean, I think it's still there if you were...
Like the one, okay, so you're talking about the one-lane bridge kind of that goes over the creek?
It wasn't used. It wasn't a bridge that was used, I guess is what I'm saying. It was just, there was a parking area up there that you could park in.
Okay.
And that's where that's where quite a few people would park before I mean, now there's a nice parking space, but before it was either you parked there or you parked over in the farmer's thing, and I mean, at one point they had it marked that they didn't want you parking there, so and I know it wasn't over there, because I told them something about some cars that were there, so I would have been parked up on the bridge side of things, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess it won't happen.
So this is kind of an overview of the area. So obviously this is the Blue Bridge here over the Hoosier Heartland Highway.
Okay.
Yeah, and so, can you mark on where you think you parked at? Good.
Show me the Blue Bridge again.
Blue Bridge, here's the Hoosier Heartland Highway. Here's Main Street. The road that comes out from downtown goes out onto Heartland. And here's the Andersons. I think that's going to be their fertilizer plant. And down there's the...
So that's the Blue Bridge. I mean, it's right there. It would have been over in here somewhere probably.
Well, that's one of the parking areas. Okay, and then I used...
Or it would have been, there was a old building somewhere over...
this map was taken back when the building was still there. And this is the building that was on the bridge, the trail side of the bridge.
Okay.
So down up
You
here.
went this way, I think you went down this way and
Mm-hmm.
you, like went in an underpass or something?
Yep, that's right. And then there's a building there, if you can see it.
Okay, so it would either been there or there.
Okay, all right, very good. Which way do you think you would have traveled to get to this building that particular day, if you remember?
Just that way that loops around.
Okay.
I don't know the names of the roads or anything, I mean, I can show you where I drove, but it just, on the way, the road that goes out, it's basically the same way that you get to this one, except, no, it's further up, and you go down, and it like comes down and goes around somewhere, and comes over on the other side.
Okay, very good, okay. Was it ever an occasion where you might have gone to the park another way? Did you go out here very often, I should ask?
Not, like, I wouldn't say often. I mean, we go out, we may go once a month, we may go twice in 1 week. I mean, it was just kind of one of those where, when we felt like walking the trail, we'd go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say we visited it regularly.
Mm-hmm.
During the summer months, we didn't really go out there much in the winter. We may have gone out a time or two, but.
Right, okay. So was it ever something, was there ever a time that you guys took another path to get out there besides going around this way, or do you remember anything like that?
I think there's a way, if you go past where you park the farmer's entrance that I was telling you
I
about.
think it's down here. There's an entrance across from a residence that's a farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make any sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know that there's a way that winds around, and you can eventually get back to 200, or whatever road it is we're off of, 200 North, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out somewhere down there, but we only did that, I think we found that by accident one time. We thought we'd go that way and try to get back, and it was, we eventually came out that way somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But no, I wouldn't, if we were going to go there, we would go down through town and...
Okay, good to know. All right. So let's talk more about what you remember doing that day, remember seeing that day.
Okay.
You gave an account to
Sure.
The officer who talked to you. And do you remember how that was prompted, how that happened, that you happened to talk to the officer?
I don't remember if it was the next day or a couple days, but shortly after they were asking for anybody that was there to come in. So I went down, I got home from work and my wife said, they want to talk, because I had obviously told her that I was there. And she said they want to talk to anybody that was down there, may have any information. I don't know how much, but I obviously will go down. So we went down to the sheriff's station, and I don't remember who it was, came out and talked to me and said that he would get my name and information. And then I was driving downtown for something, and I know that, I remember he called me when I was in the car, because I pulled over and talked to him. It was a DNR officer. And he asked me if I could come down and talk there, or if I want to meet somewhere. And I don't remember how or why. I think they were really busy, obviously, crowded probably. So I was heading down to, it was the Save-A-Lot parking lot down there, and I told him I would just meet him there if that was okay. So he came down, we talked. He looked at my phone, took my phone information, and I think he got some, we took the battery out and everything, and he got information off of it. So that's pretty much it. And I gave him the account. Forgive me, it's been years, and I thought about it a lot. As time goes on, it's, like I said, I think I was there probably around noon. It could have been a little before noon or a little after noon. Walked down, back an hour, so probably 1:30, 1:45, depending on exactly what time it was that I got there that day. I just remember walking down the trail, and I had told him that when I was approaching the trail, or the trailhead, I guess is what I call it, there was 3 girls walking off the trail, and I just remember it looking like one of them was probably watching, babysitting, but watching the other two because they looked a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
And they looked very similar. I don't know if they were sisters or whatever, but the other one didn't necessarily. But I remember seeing them walking off the trailhead, and I didn't really see anybody. I walked down, like I said, I look at the water, I walked back, and I said, I mean, somebody could have walked behind me, I guess, but I sat on that bench that overlooks the creek bed and all that. And I remember telling him when I left, I remember there being, I think there was 2 vehicles down there on that farmer's entrance that I told you about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I know I didn't park there, because
No, we did.
obviously I wouldn't recall seeing cars there if I parked there.
The farmer's interest, are we still talking about this area here, or is there some other location here?
There's a pull-in, like right next to the trail is all I can tell you. There's a pull-in right next to the trail, and a trail actually leads up to the trail.
Yeah, it's hard to see from here, but I think this is what's called the old Mears.
Probably. There was a farmhouse across from it is all I knew.
Right.
And it was like I guess it looked like where you take farm equipment in and out or something, but
Okay.
I know at one point they flagged it that it said no parking, so we didn't park there for a period of time, but
Did you ever park there before when you went?
Yeah.
A lot of times you did, okay.
I mean, we used to when it wasn't marked.
Mhm.
We did a cleanup down there one time I brought a bunch of Walmart people, kind of a community engagement thing, and we did a cleanup down there. It's the year that they tore down, we tore down that, if you go down, not the High Bridge way, but that one where I sit on the bench,
Yeah.
that I was telling you about. If you go down that hill, there used to be a little shed, a little shack down there, and they tore that, and we were there that day that we tore that down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you guys did that with Walmart. Was that a local Walmart you worked at?
Lafayette.
Lafayette,
Yeah.
okay. One on Commerce or the one on?
Commerce.
Okay, all right. So, you guys came up and did that. Do you know when that was?
Oh, Lord, no. Well,
Was it before or after this?
2006, it would have been,
Way before.
I wasn't even with, it was what, 17?
Yep. When the girls were out there.
13, 17. I wasn't even with Walmart at the time. I would have already been with CVS, yeah.
Okay, so sometime in the,
Yeah, it would have been way before. I mean, I went to CVS in, what did I say, 13, so it would have had to been before 13.
okay. So you were out there then working on the trails?
I'm going to say a lot earlier than that because I worked in Chicago, south of Chicago, for a couple of my last years with Walmart when I was actually running that store. So probably around 9, 10 maybe.
Okay, all right, somewhere around there. So you were working out there in trails. Have you been familiar with the trails before then? Was there a time that you had been out trails before that?
We had walked, after we moved to Delphi, I mean, we started experimenting. I mean, there were trails that we didn't know were there, but, you know, you'd hear about one and you'd go, and I'm sure by that point, well, obviously I know by that point I knew about them because that's how I don't know how I got associated with the Dan something or other that runs the Erie, I think it was Dan, run like the Erie Canal thing, and McCain.
Yeah, okay.
I don't remember how I became acquainted with him, but I asked him, because at Walmart, you know, as a leader, they always want you to be involved in the community, and I mean, it's a good thing,
Sure.
but you can also give money to, like, so, because we brought so many people out for that event for a day, we had so many hours, and we were able to donate money because of that from Walmart to the Erie Canal Foundation or whatever, so we worked, I guess, the question is, yeah, I had been on the trails before that day, and we also worked out at the Carrollton Bridge that day. There's a tow path or something. We cleaned up some stuff along there too.
Oh, okay, yeah, makes sense. All right, well, that's good. Good
So, yeah, I sat there for a few minutes and left, and like I said, there were a couple vehicles. I may have told him the exact makes, I'm not sure. I just remember one was like a sedan, and I think maybe one was an SUV, I'm not sure.